Across the room. I know you're Jackson.
We got sorry
Yeah,
for our,
this should be everybody.
I was gonna say sorry for a little chit chat. We're just trying to get everything sorted. All right, I'm gonna pin myself and then go back. Like I was telling Miss Katie, so tonight we're gonna do emotions. So we're gonna get one with our feelings. And this one is kind of a long list. I typically what I do with it is it's not only like emotions, but also kind of like personality traits or different kind of moods, I guess is really the kind of thing to say. Characteristics. No, that's the word I want to say. Characteristics of people. So it's kind of a mixture of all of that. So yeah, I was trying to see. There's a lot. So fair warning, like there is a lot of words. So I'll go through them, review, but just a heads up. Okay. So the first word we're going to do is the first sign we're going to do is the sign for emotion. So the sign for emotion is you're going to have two E's and you're going to go emotion. And you're going to have like going down your chest. You're going to go down. Emotion. Emotion. All right. The next one we have is feeling. This is also the sign for feel in that same general concept of like how you're feeling as a person, or I feel this way. And it's going to be your middle finger. You're going to stick it forward and you're going to go feel. It's kind of like the center of your chest and you're going to flick up. Feel. Feel. Then we have happy. So happy is going to be happy. It's like your open hands and you pat your shoulders as you go up. Happy. And usually this does come with a smile. So just saying.
Hey, Jillian, is feeling also the same thing if you were going to say, like, this feels sticky?
So typically what you do, because you really wouldn't, but some people will do, like it feels kind of sticky. Usually I do like, I'll be like, I'll make that motion like it's sticky, like I'm feeling that, or I'll kind of wiggle my fingers like back and forth, like I'm touching them like, ooh, that's sticky. Because this one's more talking about emotions and more expressive rather than the actual like feeling of something. Like if you're gonna pet a dog, like feel how soft the fur is, you would still do like the motion of petting, which this is pet, by the way. Pet the dog and the like pets. Like I have 5 pets. Yeah. So it kind of just depends on what the kind of feeling you're touching, like what you're touching is, and like what you're saying, how it feels. It kind of relates with that and changes. But yeah. Okay. Do not. Sorry, my watch has been catching me talk. Like Siri has been trying to record me every time. So I'm trying to make sure she doesn't do it again tonight. All right. So my next word is sad. So the sign for sad is you're going to have 2 open hands. You're going to have them in front of your face and you're going to bring them down. Sad. And you do want to get that pouty face with it. Very much, like I said, this is one where you really let your face kind of, if you can, show it. And so, ooh, yeah. All right. The next one I have is mad. Mad has a few different ways you can sign it. Really, there's the one basic one for just mad. And then there's like, you know how when we're just saying like, I'm just boiling mad. Or we'll have like, I'm about to explode, like I'm so angry. Kind of those sort of phrases. There are a few signs for that in ASL, which is really cool. So the first one is mad. It's mad. You have like this open, like kind of monster hand, and you go in front of your face. Mad. Mad. Then for boiling, like you are fuming. Okay, I'm gonna lean back a little. It's gonna look weird because I'm having it higher up. Usually you have your hand right around like your chest area. It's going to be this with your non-dominant. Your dominant is going to have this, and you're going to wiggle your fingers under it. So it's kind of like, it looks like this, and it means like I'm just fuming, like I am boiling. I'm so mad. I think these are always fun. I don't know why. I just love the fact that there's like so many different ways you can sign like angry. There's always ones for other happy ones, but they're like still the same. These are different. Then the other one is, like I said, is exploding, like you are just losing it. And so what it is you're going like blowing up. Like I'm just so mad. You're going to start kind of like we did with soda last week. You're going to open that tap and then you're going to wiggle your fingers all the way back and slam down. So blow up, like I am just, that kind of thing. Okay, let's stop there and go back through the ones we now have. All right, so the first one we did was emotions. Emotions. Then we had feeling or feel. Feeling. And you do want to make sure this stays in the center of your chest. If you do it more out to your shoulder, that's actually the sign for like, what's up? Typically with like, yeah, two hands is like, what's up? That kind of thing. So if you do this, like you're trying to say like how you feel, and then you do this on accident, they might be like, oh, I'm good. How about you? Like, just FYI. So feel. Then we have happy, happy, happy. Sad, sad, sad. Mad, mad, mad. And we had boiling, like I'm fuming. The visual of this is like the flames, and then the pot on top. So then the other one is the blowing up. Slam down. Oh yeah. Okay. So then the next one I have is scared. So scared is going to start with like these two S's, and they're going to be not across each other. Kind of, I don't have the best way to describe it like this. And you're going to go scared. Scared. My best visual of it is that if like you get like, if you get startled and you kind of go like that, make that hand kind of motion in front of your face, that scared. Scared. And then the next one I have is tired. So tired's going to have your two hands coming above your armpits, and you're going to go tired. And you let those shoulders just fall completely, like you're so exhausted you can't keep yourself up. Tired. Tired. This is one where sometimes some people will just do the one hand tired. But I would be just a little cautious with that. Not badly, but really it's because this is also fault, like my fault, your fault. So if you're going, like if you see someone doing that and you're not sure, you can always ask for, can you sign that again or whatnot. So if you were to do it, like if you were to do one-handed, I would add those shoulders, make sure that they really know you're going down, like you were tired. It's not my fault, it's tired. Okay. The next one I have is bored/boring. And what you're going to do is you're going to have your pointer finger and you're going on the side of your nose. So we're not actually picking our noses, but you're going to come here and you're going to go bored, bored, bored. It's like you touch it and then you flick it out a little. Bored, bored. I think this comes from the fact that like, as kids, when you see them in like their schools and they're not paying attention and they're bored, they like stick their fingers up their nose. That's the visual I have of that. So I don't know if that helps y'all, but that's what I get. All right. The next one I have is embarrassed. And then after this, we'll review those. Embarrassed is going to be two fives. And you're going to kind of have the palms and you're going to motion them up your face. Embarrassed. Excuse me. I think this one, the visual I have is that when you get embarrassed, your cheeks get really red, your face gets kind of red, and it's almost like the like color is coming up into your face because you're kind of embarrassed. So embarrassed. Okay. Let's go back through those. I know we had scared, scared, scared. And I typically even like hunch my shoulders in. Like I'm like kind of cower scared. Yeah, scared. Then we had tired, tired, tired. We had also fault, fault. Okay, then we had bored, 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 bored. And then embarrassed, embarrassed, embarrassed. Okay, so the next one I have is calm. So calm would be, you're going to start kind of like this, like your two hands are kind of in line each other, and you're going to go calm, 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 calm. This can also be telling someone, like, it's almost like saying calm down, kind of that deal, like calm, like breathe. Sometimes my kids will add the little like the meditation little pose at the end. They're like, to like, especially if they're like seeing a student get mad or whatnot. I think it's kind of funny. They'll go up and they're like, hey, hey, hey. And they'll do the whole breathing technique with it too. And it's kind of funny to me. Okay. The next one is excited. So excited is going to be these middle fingers again. And you're going to be flicking them up your shoulders. So kind of like how we did with our happy, but now they're alternating. So it's like one hits the other. So excited. Sometimes people, especially, I mean, like I said, my exposure is a lot with kids. What they'll do is they're really, really excited is they're going like super fast. It's almost like a helicopter speed. Like they are just like doing this big fast motion for excited. It's kind of like that shows like the intensity of like when you're saying I'm excited versus I'm very excited. It's like you get so excited, it's just super fast. Yeah. Okay. The next one is chill. There are two ways to sign this. You guys are kind of the first group that gets the second one because this is one I'm starting to see more and more now. The first one is the one that I usually have seen the most, and it's chill, like two flat hands, and you kind of bounce back and forth. I'm chill, I'm cool, that kind of deal. The newest one I've been seeing is you have two C's, and you go like kind of, you have like the back of your hands touch, and you go chill, chill. Chill. I've seen this one a lot more with like telling people like, hey, chill, like take a chill pill, that kind of thing. Chill. So that's a new one I've seen. All right. The next one I have is frustrated. And so for frustrated, you're going to have two B's. And you're going to have them come in front of your face and then slide them down your chin. So like you're actually like touching your chin. Frustrated. I think of this as like as you're trying to get through and you keep hitting roadblock after roadblock. And that's like how frustration feels. Frustrated. Okay. The next one is nosy. So nosy is going to be just tap your nose. Nosy. Nosy. I always think that's funny. That's another one that's used quite often at school because kids are asking everybody questions. Doesn't matter what conversation you have. They're like, what do you say? What do you say? And I'm like, you're being nosy. Back off. All right. And back off, please. All right. The next one is serious. So for serious, it's going to be your pointer finger. You're going to kind of start on the side and then you twist it forward. Serious. 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 And you do want to make sure you have that like serious face with it too. Like serious. I'm being serious now. All right. Let's do one more and then we'll go back through those. The next one I have is funny. So for funny, it's going to be that like 13 motion, but on top of your nose. Funny. 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 Okay. So let's go back to our calm. So we had calm, calm, calm. And we had excited, excited. Then we had chill. So the first one I showed, chill. And then chill, chill. Then we had frustrated, frustrated. Then nosy, nosy. Then serious, serious, serious. Then funny, funny. All right. So then the next one I have is silly. So silly, there are two ways to do it. It's the same thing, but just either one could be with one hand or two hands. The first one I'm going to show you is the one hand. It's a Y. With your thumb towards your nose, you're going to go silly and bounce it back and forth. Kind of like, well, not bounce it, swing it back and forth in front of your nose. Silly. The second version with two hands is you do the same thing and then you go silly. Yeah, silly, silly. And it's still going to be right in front of your nose. Silly. This one's, I usually see this when it's like being a real big deal, like silly, like you're being just really silly versus like, oh, that's silly. The next one is ignore. So ignore is going to be a 4. Pointer finger is going to be on top of your nose. And you're going to go ignore. 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 There can be some real drama with that sign. I've taught 3rd graders who couldn't ignore, and I'll tell them, ignore them and do your work. And they will look at that other student and go, ignore you. I ignore you. And I'm like, that's kind of not the point. You're supposed to actually like do it. And they'll just be like, I ignore you, ignore. And I'm like, no. It's always fun trying to teach kids what the difference between just saying the word versus actually doing it. It's a very fun time. All right. The next one I have is annoy. This one is also with bother. They're the same sign. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your non-dominant sideways with the thumb kind of up. Your dominant is going to be that same sort of shape. And you're going to put them between your thumb, like that little space. Yeah. Annoy or bother. And you want to make sure you do double, like not double, but a couple taps. If you do it one time, that's more interrupt. Like I'm interrupting, which is still kind of goes in with like if you're trying to like, you know, when you say like, I hate to interrupt you, or I hate to bother you, that sort of thing. So interrupt, annoy, bother. Okay. Then we have proud. I keep trying to go down my list to go further, but I need to not, because then I like lose where we last stopped, and I'm trying to make sure I keep up with that. The next one for proud is you're going to have a thumbs up. You're going to have it kind of, I guess it's a thumbs down, but you're going to start kind of a little bit above your belly button, and you're going to slide it up almost like you're zipping a jacket. Proud. 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 The next one is curious. So curious is going to be kind of like a 9, but it's not fully closed. And you're going to stick it right in the center of your neck, and you're going to go curious. 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 And we'll do one more and then we'll review those. The next one is confused. So confused is going to be 2 open kind of 5s like this, slightly bent, not fully. And you're going to, it's going to look weird when I show it, but you're going to be making like circular motions in front of you. Like I'm turning sideways like this. You're making this sideways in front of you. Confused. Confused. And it's kind of, again, my visual is that like when a cartoon's confused, you know, and it has like the thought cloud, and there's just gibberish in there because it's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's kind of like that. Confused. Okay, so let's go back to our silly. So silly. Silly. Then our ignore. Oh, sorry, the big silly. Sorry. Yeah, big silly. Silly. Then ignore. 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 Annoy / bother. Ignore. My goodness. Annoy, bother. And then I did have that interrupt, that one like big motion of it. Then proud. 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 Curious. 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 And then confused. 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 Okay. How is everyone doing so far? I feel like I'm just throwing a lot of signs all at once, and I know that's the case. I know, trust me. There's so many different ways. Honestly, if there's a few you like, I would probably use these the most. I'd practice those and not stress too much. If you don't get the others, that's a-okay. I did not learn all of these in one night, and I don't expect you guys to either. But I want to make sure everyone's doing good. Somewhat, I know it's a lot. Okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
The confused, is it in front of your face or is it down by your chest?
So typically I see it more higher up, kind of north, kind of towards where your brain, like your head is kind of up here. But I have seen some people be like kind of doing this motion lower down. I think it really just depends on the person. And as long as it gets the point across, like this is like confusing, I think you're good. I've seen it kind of with, like I said, that context, like if you're just like, I'm confused, or if you're saying like this work, like this paper is confusing, it's almost like directed. Does that make sense? But I typically do my confused up here. All right. Are there any other questions? While I take a little quick water break. Okay. So the next one I have is rude. So rude is going to be a Y, and you're going to have your thumb go on the opposite, like the opposite corner of your mouth, and you're going to go rude. You're going to slide it across. Rude. 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 The next one is nice. And so it's going to be nice. You're just going to swipe your hand across. Nice. Nice. This can be saying that she is nice. This also can be like saying, oh, that's nice. Like that, your new car, things like that. Nice. All right. The next one we have is smart. Smart is going to be your middle finger. You're going to start at your forehead, like the temple of your forehead, and you're going to go smart. 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 Then the next one we have is cool. And it's going to be kind of like, I want to say like a G, but it's more pinched in. And you're going to bring it to the corner of your mouth again, and you're going to go cool. 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 So like I said, it's kind of like, think about like you're pinching, and then you come that with the corner of your mouth. Cool. All right. The next one is awkward. And so awkward is going to be 2 3s. You're going to have them flat, and you're going to go bouncing up and down. Awkward. All right. The next one I have is strange. Now, what you're going to do for strange is you're going to have this C. You're going to start kind of in front of your face, and you're going to go strange. 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 Okay, so I know we haven't done jobs yet per se, but I want to add this one here. A lot of what you'll see, and I will probably do that not next week's class, but the week after's. With when you have like different jobs, I cannot talk, jobs, and you're talking about what, like as a teacher or a doctor, like those ERs at the end. Typically what you do is that you're actually going to sign the word like teach, and then you add this person afterwards. And so that's what they do with a lot of different types of descriptions of like jobs. But I wanted to add, a lot of times people think with strange, you could just go stranger, like someone you don't know. That doesn't actually work as well, because with that, it's saying that that's a weird person, like that's someone that's more of like a really negative way. Whereas we're saying, oh, well, she's just a stranger to me, or things like that. If you say stranger to a person, they're going to be like, oh, like we don't like that person, like that's weird. And so I try to like tell people, just when you're doing, like if you're talking about a stranger, you would just go person, and then be like, I don't know. I don't know. I know that's kind of like ahead. I don't know. I think my weeks are kind of twisted. I just remember that being like a topic we were talking about. It's like, oh, stranger. And I was like, no, not unless you think that person is concerned. Like it's like they're really weird or things like that. But yeah. Okay. So then our next one, and then we'll go back through these, is busy. So busy is going to be, you're going to have your non-dominant is a sideways B. Dominant's another B. And you're going to slide it across. Busy. Some people will go busy, like they'll just shake it like this. It's still the same sort of thing. Busy, busy. Yeah, I'm trying not to add too many because like there are signs that are similar and I'm like, oh, well, let me add this. I'm like, no, there's a lot of signs already here. I do not need to be throwing more signs at you guys. Okay. So let's go back to our rude. So we had rude, rude, rude. Then we had nice, nice, nice. Smart, smart, smart. Cool, cool, cool. Awkward, awkward, awkward. Strange, strange, strange. And then busy, busy, busy. Okay. So now we have a few more. I'm trying to say, yeah, we've got a few more. So we have the next one we have is surprised. So surprise is going to be baby shark kind of thing. It's going to be near your eyes and you're going to go surprise. 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 This is also the sign for like wake up, like you wake up. I think what helps make a difference is the reaction. You know, when you wake up, you're not always, well, there may be some people, you don't always wake up like, oh, you know, very rarely what we see is like that kind of thing. You know, it's like I woke up, I had to do this, or I'm like, oh, I'm surprised, like, wow, like my eyes are bugged out, that kind of thing. So surprise, surprise. Then we have friendly. There we go. So for friendly, what you're going to do is you're going to have these fives. You're going to kind of have them away from you. You're going to wiggle your fingers towards your face. Friendly. 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 Then we have lazy. So lazy is going to be an L, and you're going to tap it across. And this one, it doesn't matter if you do it over if you're right-handed going across your left shoulder, if you're left-handed going to your right shoulder, it does not matter. Lazy. Then we have stubborn. So stubborn is going to be your thumb goes on the side of your temple again, and you're going to go stubborn. 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 Okay. Then we have nervous. So nervous is just going to be nervous, like you shaking your hands, nervous. I've seen some people, they'll like kind of like pretend like their legs are like, they'll do like this where they have two fingers and like they have one shake. It's kind of like that motion of like their legs are jittery, that kind of nervousness. So that's another one. But most of the time it's, I'm nervous. All right. Then we have honest. So honest is going to be your non-dominant is palm up. Your dominant is going to be in the H, and you're going to slide it across. Honest. Honest. This is also for honesty as well. Honest. Okay. Then we have concern. So concern is going to be your two, like your middle fingers again, and you're going to go concern. So it's like you're bouncing it back and forth. Concern. And you are tapping. So if you couldn't tell, I'm like tapping back and forth. Concern. Then we have forget. So forget is going to be, you're going to start with your whole hand kind of across your forehead, and you're going to go forget. Forget. Forget or forgot. Sometimes I'll do with the middle finger across, forgot, forget, forget. Both of them are correct either way. Forget, forget. And then we'll stop. I've been adding a lot. I just realized I was looking at my list again. Okay. So we had surprised, surprised, surprised. Then friendly, 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 lazy, lazy, stubborn, 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 nervous, nervous, honest, 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 concern, concern, and then forget, forget, or forget, forget. Okay, so I have a few more, but what I'm actually going to do right now is I'm going to let you guys see if there's any other emotion feeling signs that you guys would like to see the sign for. You can type them in the chat, things like that. I'm going to give us a minute for that. I'm going to let my dog out real quick. He is dying to go outside. And then we'll do those. And then after that, if you guys, I'll give you guys kind of the option. We can either review all the ones we've done, or we can keep going with some more signs for like how you would describe people as like things like they're close, stuff like that. I will let you guys make that decision. So let me go let my dogs out real quick. Okay. Sorry, it's very close, but I needed to let them out. Are there any feeling signs that you guys, emotions or characteristics, any words you can think of that you'd like to see? Yes, I can. So someone asked if I could teach y'all how to use like some of these feelings in like short sentences. So what's really nice, especially with saying like I'm nervous, if you're talking about yourself for any of these things, you can just easily, if you're trying to say like I am nervous, you can just basically go like me nervous, like me nervous. I'm not sure if we've talked about this before, but I'll bring it up again if so. What's really nice with ASL is that a lot of our like linking verbs or are like is, am, were are not, they don't have their own sign per se. It's all kind of just blended into the actual like what you're talking about, the concept. And so you don't have to worry about individually signing each word. If you, as long as you get like that part of that sentence, like me nervous, that is the same as saying I am nervous. So if you're trying to say like so nervous, some people I will say will add that like so, like that will go SO to be like emphasize like I am just that nervous. Or you can almost like I say, the more dramatic you get, like almost like shaking your whole body, that would tell them like you are not just nervous, you are like extremely nervous. So sometimes I like to say the more dramatic you are, the more like it shows like what you're feeling. And so yeah, that's one way. If you were to ask somebody, oh, Miss Katie, the W question words, where have they been? I'm sorry, that just hit me. We usually have our WH question words like with our family. That's what I missed. I knew it felt weird. Okay, I'm sorry. I did not mean to just stop mid-sentence. Usually we have our WH question words with our family, but because we split up the time, it like moved over and it threw me off. So let me explain this and then I'll do the 5 WH question words and we'll just kind of review it for the rest. When you're asking people questions, there are two important things that you do with signing to them. One is the placement of your eyebrows is actually kind of a big telling sign for them. So if you are asking them a question and it's a yes or no question, like, are you tired? Or are you Katie? Things like that. Your eyebrows, you're going to want them to go up. Like, and I know this is probably the weirdest thing to learn and get used to is going like, you Katie, like you Katie, but your eyebrows go up. And the reason for that is that actually tells them that you're asking them a question. That helps emphasize that question mark. So, you know, like how in our tone, when we're talking, I say, oh, are you Katie? And like we have that almost like that tone up to have an open end. That's the thing in ASL is going up. If you were to say like, what is your name? You or anything that have an actual like answer, it couldn't just be yes or no. Your eyebrows are going to go down. So I know it's kind of weird when you're not used to it. And so it may think you're looking like you're angry at them, but your eyebrows down shows them that you are asking a question that needs an actual answer, not just yes or no. So let us do our WH, and then I will show you how to use those in sentences. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is what. So the sign for what is what. 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 Then our next one is who. So who is going to be this L. Your thumb is going to be in your chin, and you're going to go who. And you're going to kind of bounce that little, who. Now, what's really interesting to me is that when anybody uses the sign for who, everybody does the little who motion, who. Even people I've seen who are profoundly deaf, like have no hearing whatsoever, have not ever heard the word who out loud. They all still do who. They don't make the sound, but they'll go who. So I just think that's always really interesting. Who. All right. The next one is where. So where is going to be a pointer finger. You're going to slightly bend it, not full X mode. It's just slightly bent. And you're going to go where. 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 Then we have when. When is going to be 2 pointer fingers. And then whichever hand you choose is going to make a circle motion. When. 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 Excuse me. And then our why. Why does have 3 different ways. They're all similar, just slightly different. So the first one I'm going to show you is you're going to start at your forehead like this, and you're going to pull back into a Y. So like I turn mine sideways, but you guys wouldn't. It just goes Y, 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 Y. The next way you can do it is just your middle finger as you go Y, Y. You just pull from it, Y. Y. The final way of doing it is it's that same middle finger, and you go Y. Y. It's just bouncing it back and forth this side. Y. I see all 3 of those kind of change around. So I've seen them multiple times kind of equally. So really it's just kind of, at least for me, I think it's a preference. I learned this one, the Y right here, like the Y, but now I do Y. 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 Okay. So let's go back through those 5 real quick. And then I'm going to show you how you would use them in a sentence. Okay. So we had our what, who, where, when, and then why, or why. Okay, so for our WH question words, what you do when you use them is you are actually going to put your question word at the end of your sentence. Yeah, meaning instead of how we say what is your name, in ASL you would go your name what, with those eyebrows down. That just helps to emphasize that one is a question, but what kind of question? I think that's I cannot talk. Instead, that's just kind of what it is for there, and so that's why those eyebrows down at the end are important. So you would go your name what. And that would be, what is your name? If you were going to be trying to think of a sentence. So like so like you were saying earlier with like emotions, it's like if you're saying, are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you mad? Things like that, is you would just point to them. You mad? You mad? Now I know I have my eyebrows down and it's not a yes, no question. Typically because when I'm thinking of mad, I'm imitating the face of I'm angry. So you mad? Even though you would technically, you would do you mad? But I feel like this, if someone is mad, feels like you're gonna like make them mad because you're like imitating. I know it's a weird thing with that. If you're saying like, are you scared? Like, you scared? I'm still doing like the copying of the feelings. But if you were saying, trying to think of words I know we haven't done, so I'm not trying to throw too many more signs on you guys because I know I've thrown a lot, and I cannot believe I forgot the WH question words. That one's going to get me for the rest of the night. All I'm going to think about is how I've not shown you how to ask questions, and that's kind of important. So my bad, you guys. If you were going to say, where is the bathroom? That's a good one. So the sign for bathroom is going to be a T. I know I said I wasn't going to add signs. This one is an important one. Shake it back and forth. Bathroom. Bathroom. So we'd go bathroom where? Bathroom where? If you were asking where the water fountain was, things like that, you would do water where? Water where? And then let's see, another one I'm trying to think of. One for, what have we done? What? Oh, you, like, who are you? You just go, you, who? You, who? Who? With pronouns, there's not really actually signs for big different signs for his, hers, theirs, them, he, her, all of those. There really isn't. What you would do is you would just, if you're talking about a person and you're not like talking about something they own, but it's just like you're saying, oh yeah, they're this, or she is this, he is this, blah, blah, blah. You would point to them. And if it's like there's a lot of people in the room, so it's hard to see, that's when I would do like, oh, he, like boy, him, boy, he, or girl, she. And if it's just like they or not being specific, you would just go like they, like pointing to them. And if you have noticed, like I think I've added it in, but I'm going to emphasize it, is if you're talking about their stuff or your stuff, it's the open hand. So like mine is like open hand versus the me. And then if it's them or theirs, that open hand is like ownership. So think like that. If you think of anything like you own or they own, it's mine, it's theirs, it's his, it's hers. There's no really big emphasis on the difference between those two. So if you're saying like, oh, is this water yours? You'd be like you would hold it like this, yours, that sort of thing. Are there any questions that you would like to learn the signs for, or is there any questions you actually have just about ASL in general? Anything you guys can think of? I know there's a lot of words. I know. I've tried not to throw so many. I even was like, we don't need that one. That's okay. I think we're good on feelings. There's a lot of signs. I know.
I've actually got a question.
Yes.
So if you were gonna, so say you're like, you have people you see a lot, would you spell out their name every time, or do people come up with like shorthand?
I cannot believe I have not talked about this either. Okay. Thank you for bringing that one up. I have been so off my game this time. So there is actually, when you see people and you talk to people, some people probably will even ask you this if you talk to a deaf person. They're going to ask you about your sign name. And so what that is a sign name is a name or a sign that is assigned for you as your person in your name. It's really cool. You can only get one by a deaf person. So you have to know someone and you have to know a deaf person for you to get a sign name. And what's really cool with them is rather than like just assigning a random name or anything like that, they usually like to get to know you and get to know your personality, and then they connect it with that. So for example, my sign name is a G on the top of my cheek, Jillian. And so the reason I got this sign name is because, if you can't really tell, my cheeks get really red a lot. When I talk in front of people or I talk to people, they just get, I mean, it's just like cherry tomatoes on top of my face. And so that is just a personality trait of mine, is that my cheeks get really red. So when I was given my sign name, it was for my name, the G for Jillian on top of my red cheeks. And so it's really cool. And that one's actually kind of different. I don't see as many people with their sign names up around their face like that. There are a lot of people that will have their sign names around their heart or around their mouth. And nothing against that, but it's just the same old, oh, she's sweet, oh, he's kind, things like that. So like I know one person who's got, her name starts with a K and it's on her heart because she's kind-hearted. Which I know that is very sweet. When you have like 4 different Ks over here, it gets to be complicated. Like we have 2 staff members that both start with Ks, and they both have their names over here. And it got to the point for the kids, because they were getting so fed up with trying to describe, no, not that one, this one, that they actually assigned hearing K, deaf K. Like that was the difference, because one of them was hearing and one of them was deaf. And I remember when I first saw that, I like went, what? Like I was so not expecting that, and I had to like take a minute because I was cackling. I thought that was really like smart, but also kind of funny. And I came up to my coworkers like, "You do realize you are now deaf K, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah. They did it. That's I have no choice for that." So there'll be things like that. So I kind of like that my G is up here, because I'm not going to have that many different people with the G's on their cheeks. But yeah, sign names are really cool, and it's always fun to ask people, where'd you get your sign name from? Like, what is it in relation and stuff like that. And when a deaf baby is born, especially if they are in like the deaf culture or their parents are deaf, what they typically do is, well, yes, they may give you they may give their child a name, you know, the day they're born. They may not give a sign name until they're like 1, 2, or 3 years old, because they're waiting for that personality to show up and to see what their personality is, and something that goes really kind of connect with that. And I think that's just such a cool thing that ASL does. So yeah, if you meet a deaf person, talk with them long enough just so you can get a sign name, because it's kind of like the coolest thing ever, in my opinion. But yeah, are there any other questions you guys have? I keep thinking I have water and I don't. Any kind of and like when I say questions, it can be literally, if you think this could be, I don't know if this could be offensive or upsetting, you can ask it. Like I try to emphasize how much this is a safe space. You may ask a question and you're like, would that offend someone? And I will tell you if yes, that might hurt their feelings or they might get upset, or no, I think you're good. Because deaf culture is very much, like I said, it's closely tied to ASL. And so there are certain things you could do in ASL or in deaf culture that may not be offensive, or may be so. So, any questions you guys have with that? Excuse me. I'm trying to see. Are you saying water? Yeah, water. You would like tap it. Yeah, water. Where? Water. Where? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So the signs for hearing and deaf. So the sign for deaf is going to be your pointer finger. You're going to start at the corner of your mouth and bring it to your ear. Deaf. Deaf. Mm-hmm. So if you were going to ask a person if you're deaf, you could be like, you deaf? Deaf? Mm-hmm. Then hearing is going to be hearing. So you're just like spinning it in front of your mouth. Hearing. Hearing. Fun fact, that is also the sign for public, as in public school. It's not like there's not a different sign for saying public school. It's hearing school. And I've caught myself more than once on occasion, especially if I'm signing and talking like I am right now, where I may be talking to someone and I might be talking about, oh yeah, well, you know, and like we're talking about public schools or something. I won't say public school. I will say hearing school. And I've caught myself so many times, because I'll be like, oh yeah, I work at a deaf school. Or I'll be like, yeah, you know, like I'll go, I'm saying it now because I'm in English mode right now, but I'll be like, oh yeah, hearing schools do blah, blah, and I'm like, public schools. It's just because like in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is hearing, but yeah, public schools. It's, yeah, it's like a small little circular motion in front of your mouth. Hearing. And then hard of hearing is going to be this H, and you're going to bounce it. Hard of hearing. H. H. Yep. Any other questions? My time is off on my computer and my phone. I got kind of thrown off for a minute. Any signs you guys are curious of? I feel like this group, there's just been those slight little changes that have thrown off my list, and I apologize that I kind of might feel like it's not in order. Usually they are more so, but sometimes when weeks kind of change a little bit, it kind of throws off the next, but that's okay. We are going to catch them, and I promise I'm like even going back now going, what have we not done than what we usually do? But any questions you guys have? Just trying to see. I was gonna say, okay, I will add, have I talked about deaf beings before in this class? Okay, this is not signs, I promise. I'm just gonna give you like a nice little fun story because I was like, we have 5 minutes left. I'm not throwing more signs on you guys. So there's this really cool thing, and if you actually look it up on YouTube, you can find videos about it. So what it's called deaf beings, so deaf beings. And what it is it's just these different things that'll happen that people, it's kind of like little, you know, like kind of like when we say like, oh yeah, only in the South, or can you go to every restaurant, ask for sweet tea, things like that. But it'll be like only deaf people get this, but it's actually really interesting, especially from a perspective of that's not your culture, you've not been around it. And so some of the things that are deaf beings will be like when you are signing, and if you have glasses, sometimes what'll happen is as you're signing, you may knock your glasses off your face because you're just signing, and you got to get close and personal sometimes. And you'll be like signing and you may knock your glasses off. I have glasses. I don't use them as often, but when I do, I have more than on occasion flung my glasses off my face while I'm signing. Or if you have nails, be warned, you will scratch yourself. I got myself really bad one time. Like, I mean, I scratched, and it was like a total like accident as I was signing. And I like stopped mid-sentence, like, because I was just getting really excited, talking fast. And I just stopped immediately in the middle of my conversation. I'm like, and they're like, did you scratch yourself? And I was like, yes. And it was a big red long mark. And I was like, I cannot believe I did that. And you can't hide anything like that. Deaf people and deaf kids, like because like since they're hearing, they don't have hearing, their visual skills are like, I mean, they're like top. So you may think, oh, I can just like put a little makeup. No, they'll notice. I did one time mascara on my eyes for work because like I don't typically use a lot of makeup. I did mascara once. They came up to me and they're like, eyebrows, eyelashes, you got makeup? And I was like, that's all I did. And they're like, yeah, we noticed, we did this. Or like you may have like the tiniest little like scratch, and they're like, what happened? I mean, you can't hide anything from none of them. And it's kind of funny. And so, but yeah, so deaf being is like they'll scratch or they'll fling glasses off, or trying to get a deaf person's attention. Sometimes what'll happen is that if you would think a deaf school would be quiet, it's really not. Noisier than probably an actual public school, because to get attention, we stomp on the floor or we bang on our desks, like our tables, like, I mean, bang, bang, bang. And it's because it sends vibrations for them to feel, or if they do have a little bit of hearing, they can catch it. And yeah, it is a noisy building. Or we'll like be calling, like they'll like, yeah, not even like a yell, but it's like, this, they'll do that. And it's to get other people's attention. And which is just, I remember it was kind of like, that was kind of a culture shock as well for me. So it was like, I'm not used to hearing all these different noises all at once. And yeah, that's a big change. But so the deaf being, one of the videos they had is like someone standing in the background of a door, like the door is locked. Like you can't bang on it to get them to be like, hey, it's locked. They can't hear it. And the teacher's like deaf. And so there's just these kids at this tiny little window, just like jumping up and down, waving, trying to get attention. I mean, they're like doing everything under the sun to get that attention and they can't get it because they are not looking that way. And then another one for attention is lights, turning lights on and off. That's a big one. That they'll do is if you're trying to get attention, they'll flicker the lights on and off. And I used to be able to do that. And then we got a new building, which is great and wonderful. But they give us like these smooth lights where there's a button to turn it on and a button to turn them off. And they just slowly come off. You can't do a quick little flip on and off. Let me tell you, my coworkers who are deaf were not okay. They were not happy with that. When we came in that building, they're like, what is this? Why do we have this? We can't turn our lights on and off. I mean, they were so mad. And I was with them there too, because I was like, I can't. I remember the first time I went to try and I was like, that doesn't work. And like, it just slowly turned off and the kids were like, what is happening? And I was like, wait a minute, I got to turn them back on. And yeah, it was a very interesting like realization of, no, that's not going to work. So yeah, I would recommend if you guys ever are like interested going on like YouTube and if you type in deaf bings, like the BINGS, there's some really fun videos and yeah. I was looking everywhere but into the middle. But yeah, those are fun videos to see and just it gives you kind of a great kind of like I said, it's a different perspective on a different culture. So yeah. For next week, because I know we're coming up, what we will do next week is we'll do animals and then I'm gonna do some places because we didn't do places yet. So that's what we have for next week. But yeah, are there any final questions you guys have? Anything that you it makes you feel better. You're not the only one who's done that. There have been few where like I can just see it on their face. They're like, oh my gosh, you've shown me so many signs. And so that's when I try to be like, you know what? I'm not going to throw 30 different signs right now. I'm going to try to slow it down a little. But yeah, any questions? Are y'all good? All right. Well, Miss Katie and I will see you guys all next week. Bye, guys. Okay, Miss Katie, are you good to still talk about your idea?